you're welcome once again to Breed Abundance. In the last video, we actually started talking about spending. We talked about spending management and we looked into how to actually keep our expenses under control. We talked about being aware of what we spend money on. We talked about taking charge of our spending by using a tool called budgeting, and we also talked about delayed gratification. In today's video, we'll be looking at spending tips, and it's something I've tagged 5 hours of spending. 5 hours of spending. So the first R number 1 is reduce. Reduce. It's talking about reducing waste and non-essentials. Reduce waste and non-essentials. So what do I mean by this? Reduce waste. There are times I will buy a lot of things that we actually don't need, and we end up wasting them. For instance, we buy food beyond what we need, or we cook far more than what is required, and at the end of the day, we trash them. This is wastage that can be avoided. And sometimes we feel they're just little things there and there, but they add to the bottom line. They add to the bottom line. So we don't need to buy what we don't need so that we don't end up wasting them. So we need to learn to reduce waste. Another thing we need to learn to reduce is non-essential. We need to learn to reduce buying non-essentials. So let me give an example. Let me start with an organization. Even organizations that are profit-making are looking at how to reduce costs. They're looking at how to reduce their costs. So now printing. In most organizations, you know that you can send a lot of things via mail. You can attach documents to an email and send across to your colleague, to that other person you want to communicate with. Also, in organizations now, you have what we call share folders, where you can actually keep documents, and all the team members can have access to the document and work on the document. So you don't have to print and take from one table to another. There are a lot of approval processes now that are done online. You can, initiate a process. It goes to your manager to approve. From the manager, it goes to the senior manager to approve, and everything can be done online now. So wasting of paper in the office has been reduced. So companies now spend a lot less on papers, and they spend a whole lot less on ink, and even on maintenance of the printer, because if you don't use the printer so much, the maintenance cost will come down. So if organizations that are making profits are looking at cutting down on costs, how come we cannot start treating ourselves as an entity? Yes, we need to start treating ourselves as an entity. And when we think of ourselves as an entity, then we learn to reduce waste and non-essentials. Okay, so let me bring it down again to our level. So I used to know someone that loves shoes. A lot of ladies are lovers of shoes. I love shoes too. But the thing is, when you now look at this person's shoe rack, she has all shades of blue. You get to know the difference between sky blue, between deep sea blue, and what turquoise blue. You see all shades of blue, and you see them in different styles. You see wedge, you see high heel, you see open toe, you see flat shoe, you see sandal, all shades of blue. You go to red, you see different shades of red. You see orange, you see burgundy. As in what? Yes, you love shoes, you want to look good, but do we have to spend this much having all shades of all colors in different styles? No, these things last for just a while. After a while, no matter how good the shoe is, no matter how expensive, it has a lifespan. So is it worth spending all our money on? No. It's good to look good, and looking good is not always about being trendy. Looking good is not always about spending so much. So let's learn to reduce non-essentials. Yes, let's have the right things we need to look good in the right proportion so that our money can go for better use. Yes, let us reduce spending on non-essentials, and let us also reduce waste. It's very important. So the second R I'll be talking about is reuse. Let's learn to reuse some of these things that we have at home. Like you're going for shopping, you already have shopping bags at home. You don't need to go and buy another one. Go with the shopping bags you have at home and use them for your shopping. You'll be saving yourself some money instead of having to buy shopping bags each and every time you go to the market, whereas you have some stock at home not serving any purpose. So we can learn to reuse our shopping bags. We can learn to reuse Ziplocs. Yeah, there are times I use Ziplocs to keep food in the freezer, like probably my raw tomatoes, my raw fish, my raw chicken. And when I'm done using them, you can easily rinse them out. And when you buy another raw chicken or fish, you can rinse and stock them in those Ziplocs and keep in your freezer. You don't always have to reuse a new one every time. Yeah, we understand that there are times that these items are soiled and they can't be reused and you trash. But when you can reuse, let us learn to reuse whatever can be reused. Even in organizations now, there are times that when you're printing, you need to print front and back just to reduce the number of papers you use. There's also something called reusing of paper in the office as well. So let us learn to reduce waste and non-essentials and to reuse some items that can be reused. The third R is rethink. Rethink your expense and the timing. So you think a particular expense and its timing. Must I buy it now? Can it wait? Do I need it now? Or can I get it later? Rethink an expense and its timing. It will help to manage our spending. The fourth R is actually to research options. Research the options you have to some particular expenses. For instance, when you go to the office, you probably buy bottles of water every day to drink. It's good to stay hydrated. It's good to drink water. But do you have options to buying bottles of water every day? Yes. An option is probably for you to have a bottle that you can fill with water from your house every day and take to the office. And if you exhaust it, most offices have a place where you can refill your water bottle. And if you don't have that in your office, at least you'll be spending less. If you normally buy like 2-3 bottles of water in a day to drink, you probably end up buying one. So there's an option to buying bottles of water every single day. So research options to expenses that you actually spend money on. Another one is vacation. Okay, so you want to go on vacation. Don't wait until when you're almost going before you get your ticket, because we all know that ticket become more expensive when it's closer to the time you're going to take the trip. So the best thing is plan your vacation well ahead of time. Watch out for deals and buy. So if you buy your ticket well ahead of time, you'll be saving quite some money, unlike if you have to wait to the last minute before you get your ticket. So check out deals on expenses you actually want to embark on. Research options that you have. Don't just think it's either I go with this, it has to be this hairline or it has to be that. Sometimes you can check out other options and you even see that some of the other options are probably even better or of the same quality and service. So don't box yourself into a particular way of getting an expense or a particular need met. Research your options. Check out deals. And the last I will actually talk about is revise. Revise your spending list. Don't be like, this is my list and it has to be my list every month. Revise it. There are some things that I probably might not need anymore on that list, or there are some things that might probably be more important that are not even on the list. And you've noticed that every month you spend money on this thing, but it's not on your spending list. So at the end of the day, it makes you to overshoot your budget. So what do you need to do? Look at that particular thing, that expense that is recurring, and adjust your list. Revise your list. So your spending list does not have to be static. You need to check it and revise it from time to time. So the 5 R's that are the spending tips are actually for you to reduce waste and non-essentials, reuse items, rethink your expenses and the timing, reset your options to a particular spending, and revise your spending list. I'm sure you've learned 1 or 2 things today. Thank you for joining me once again. Like I always say, it's good we learn together, we grow together, and we get better together. So like and share our videos with your friends and your loved ones so that they can learn as well and we can all get better together. Thank you once again, and keep breeding abundance.